Welcome back to Law Firm Fridays. Today we're going to be checking out, you might have seen this video going around the internet. It's a video of this lady on an airplane getting the back of her seat punched by the man behind her. And just a couple points of background on this video. He was sitting in the back row so he could not recline his seat to avoid, kind of being squished by the seat reclining, the seat being reclined in front of him. If you've ever, been on an airplane, had someone recline into you, it's a little bit annoying. You just recline back. Well, he was in the back row, so he could not do that. And he reacted in a very aggressive manner. He started hitting the back of the lady's seat that was in front of him. And it kind of blew up over the internet over the past couple of days. People have been talking about it, kind of debating, who's at fault? Is the man or the woman at fault? Is the woman at fault for reclining the seat and not, unreclining it when, putting it back forward when the man was clearly annoyed? Or is the man at fault for, taking things to an entirely, another level with hitting the back of her seat? Who's at fault here? Some people blame the woman, some people blame the man. Some people I've seen people blaming the chair that it reclines in the first place, that they installed reclining chairs. But a lot of these people, they just got it completely wrong. They are just insane. So I'm going to, switch my screen over here so you can take a look at the video. I pulled it up on Twitter, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. Okay, so I got the video up here, and I'm just going to have you guys watch a little bit of this. You can see he's kind of jostling your seat there, which would be pretty annoying. And then I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here, try to find the part. He says something to... Here it is. Hold on. Watch it back there. He says something there. And then he says something again around in here. Now, I can't really hear what he's saying, and I don't read lips very well. I only took half a semester of it, so I'm not quite sure what he's saying there. But from my basic lip reading knowledge, and this is a pretty low quality video, he's probably saying subscribe to Large Lads Incorporated. So you might want to just go ahead and do that. It's just good advice. But as you can clearly see, he's jostling the back of the lady's seat, and it's also, she has claimed that he was violently punching the back of the seat before she started filming. That prompted her to start filming him. And it also came out that she has a vertebrae problem. So that's why she was reclining. And also why it's not a great idea to start jostling the back of her seat, But obviously the man had no way of knowing this, but it still does apply to the story. People are, very quick to pick sides on this one. It's a big controversial topic. As of right now, it's trending, it's hot in the media. Almost every major news outlet has pretty much covered it at this point. So people are all up in arms about, who's at fault. Like I said, people blame the woman, people blame the man, people blame the chair. Quite a lot of people blame the chair, actually. I was actually they're a little bit closer to the truth. But, they're not looking deep into this, really. And obviously, here at Large Lads Legal Help Services, we look deep into cases. We really, it's like an onion. We're taking all of those layers off, taking all the layers off the onion to get to the sweet onion center. So that's what we're gonna do with this little conundrum here. And actually, before we get into it, I do want to mention just a little something on the side here. The video is she's the lady that. She sold it. She sold the video. She sold the licensing. She sold the rights to it to a licensing company. So I do want to point out she is, profiting off this little conflict here, which, on one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, like it's wrong. She's claiming this guy assaulted her and then she's going and profiting off of it. But on the other hand, all these major news firms are profiting off of it as well because they pick up the story. Obviously they pay a little bit of money to the licensing firm, but they make a whole lot more money from people watching their stuff. So they're profiting off this conflict. So I can kind of see why she's like, what? If I was involved in this, I'm going to try to get in on this too. But that's just, I don't really know where to call that. But just a little throw that out there, she is profiting off this conflict by licensing the video out. So you can kind of, that food for thought, really. We're not going to get really into that. That's not the point here. But we're going to see who's at fault in this whole thing. Now, the people who blame the chairs, they are on to something here. Because if the chair could not recline, the man wouldn't be getting squished. So who invented chairs? Well, the ancient Egyptians are believed to have been the first one to invent chairs. There's some, ancient carvings of what looked to be a chair. So most people, it's widely believed that the ancient Egyptians were the first to invent chairs. Now, that does not put them at fault though, because why is that plane in the air? Because, we discovered how to manipulate physics and forces to create lift and, make airplanes out of them, right? We had to, figure out how the physics of all this work and, manipulate the materials at hand to create something that takes advantage of lift. And what is the most important force in physics? I'll give you a second here to guess. That's right. It's gravity. Gravity is the most important force in physics. Who invented gravity? That's right. Sir Isaac Newton invented gravity. And now listen to this. If Sir Isaac Newton didn't invent gravity, then planes could never have been invented, because we wouldn't have had the most important force in physics, which means we wouldn't have been able to decode the Da Vinci Code, which would tell us how to do physics, because we used the Rosetta Stone and figured out Pythagorean's theorem, and we couldn't use that if we didn't know more physics, because you use Pythagorean's theorem in physics, and all this combined, we made, NASA, and then they made airplanes, and then, that's how this whole thing came about. It's because an airplane existed for them both to be able to fly on, and the lady reclines their seat. So the ancient Egyptians had to invent chairs, but they couldn't invent chairs if gravity wasn't invented yet, because people wouldn't have needed to sit down if gravity didn't exist, because we'd just all be floating around like in WALL-E. So, I decided to take action on this because I'm an honest, upstanding citizen. So let me get something out of the filing cabinet real quick. I filed a lawsuit against Isaac Newton. Let me read this for you here. I'll just read some of the part. It's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. It'll probably be kind of hard for you to understand out there who aren't super familiar with a lot of law proceedings, but I'll try to clear some things up. So here we go. To the court. From Large Lads Legal Help Services, LLC. The subject is a lawsuit against Mr. and Mrs. Sir Isaac Newton. Now, here's our reasoning why. He invented gravity, and if gravity hadn't been invented, then the lady in the plane chair wouldn't have ever even have been hit by the bald dude behind her. Thus, in conclusion, I have decided to sue Mr. and Mrs. Sir Isaac Newton for inventing gravity and causing this whole mess in the first place. You feel me? Thanks. Signed the CEO of Large Lads Incorporated. That'd be me. So I'm going to be mailing this in later this week to the court, and we'll see what comes out of that. But we are taking action against Sir Isaac Newton because, like I said before, if he didn't invent gravity, we wouldn't have needed chairs because people wouldn't have needed to rest their backs and their legs because gravity wouldn't be pulling on them. And then if we didn't invent chairs, we couldn't have invented recliner chairs. And also, if gravity didn't exist, we couldn't have airplanes. So we couldn't have the airplanes or the chairs if gravity didn't exist. So obviously, you trace this back to Sir Isaac Newton for inventing gravity. That is what happened. A lot of people are quick to blame either the man or the woman, but they are simply just gears. They are pawns. But right now, we are suing Sir Isaac Newton for inventing gravity and causing this whole mess in the first place. So I hope that you will support us in our endeavor here and follow us on Twitter. It's at LadsLarge. That's our Twitter account. You can go follow us there and stay up to date on everything from Large Lads Legal Help Services. And if you found this video helpful, just go ahead and Venmo us $175. And that's all I got left on the script here. We're at the end of the episode. That's our inaugural episode of Law Firm Fridays. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter. You can also go ahead, subscribe, comment, tell us how you felt about the video. Let us know if you Venmoed the $175. Our final verdict on the case of the lady in the reclined seat versus the bald guy is that Isaac Newton is guilty. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. I'll see you next Friday.